Welcome back to SnowRunner. Today we're looking at the mission Instruments of Development. This needs us to take 3 lots of drilling equipment from 3 different sites and take it to the warehouse in Island Lake. Sounds pretty simple, hopefully it will be. We're going to begin today in the Western Star 6900 twin steer. Now if you watched the last episode you would have seen we'd done the bridge with the twin steer previously, and that exactly is where the twin steer still is. So I thought, well, we're already here, let's use it. It does have 4 slots on the back, so hopefully this can fit on. We don't actually know how big these are. I'm guessing they are 4 slots. But we'll find out in a second once we go and pick it up. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Otherwise, the only vehicle we have to do all 3 of these will be the International Transstar. And I'd rather mix it up. So if we can use the twin steer as well, that's a massive bonus for me. So this is the furthest away site from the warehouse as well. We're already stuck in the mud a little bit here. Now the downside to the twin steer, if you haven't seen the previous episode where we drove this for the first time, despite it being fixed in the previous episode when we first gained it, the tyres only have 10 out of 50 health on them. Ah, brilliant. So this is 4 slots, this drilling equipment. That's perfect. They only have 10 out of 50 on the tyres, so the tyres aren't in very good condition. We can't do anything about it until they get to 0, I believe. I've tried changing tyres with the Scout and service trucks and nothing seems to change the tyres, so we're stuck with whatever tyres they started on, plus the fact they're heavily damaged. Doesn't really affect the twin steer though. We were saying when we previously used in the last episode actually how good it is. It's a little bit awkward around corners because you've got the fixed back, and that's to be expected, but other than that it is a pretty good truck to use. Yes, it's missing diff lock and all-wheel drive, but with 8 tyres on the floor I don't think that matters so much, and I'm looking forward to actually putting decent tyres on this at some point. We've already said previously, whilst in Island Lake, we're not going to recover anything, because if we recover it, it goes back to Smithfield Dam, and that's a long drive just to get all the way back over here. So gaining this vehicle whilst in Island Lake is helpful, because it gives us another choice of vehicle to use. Okay, we're just plotting out the route to go back. It's fairly simple. We've got a big straight road to go down. I say straight-ish, a few bends. But it is a fairly simple route. Head to the lumber mill to the warehouse, and there we have it. Perfect. So that is the route we're going to take. I'm not foreseeing any problems with the twin steer. Knowing how it drove last time, although it did just have wooden planks on the back, I think this should be okay. There is a couple of areas where it could get a bit dodgy, but hopefully we'll be fine. Fingers crossed. Anyway. Whilst we start the driving, this is our 50th episode of SnowRunner. How is that possible? 50 episodes, we're still in Michigan, the first area of the game. How mad is that? And I don't know how many more episodes we still need to finish Michigan. We're still one map we've not been to as part of Michigan as well yet. I don't know how many missions there are in total. I can check, but I haven't. So I don't know how many episodes we're going to do. We do tend to try and do more than one mission episode if we can, and we have managed that quite a few times. There are the odd episode that goes badly wrong, and we don't actually end up completing anything in that episode because things go so badly wrong. So you kind of lose an episode here and there because of that. But I'm interested to see how many episodes just for Michigan. Hopefully it's not another 50. I would like to think we can get Michigan done before we hit episode 100. That'd be quite nice. But we go as we go. We're not going to rush it. We're not going to try and miss things out. We don't do anything off camera for this. We don't do anything away from recording. We do everything including finding watchtowers, upgrades, and missions themselves, all on episodes. So I'm not doing anything away from that. And I'm not going to change that. I think that kind of shows more everything we do is more of a well-rounded experience and series than doing a load of stuff on my own and then coming back. It's just my style. That's just how I like to do things. There it is. So, twin steer, doing okay. We're having a few moments, just like that, where this does get a bit caught up. So it is I think the issue is the weight and the height. The height does make this very tippy, so we have to be a bit careful. And I think the weight is also slowing this down a bit. I think again the tyres are causing an issue, but I really don't want to recover this just to change tyres and sort them out. If only I don't understand why we can't fix the tyres. I'm not sure what's causing that. Because you would have thought if they're only 10 out of 50 health, you should be able to fix them. But I've tried everything, and nothing will allow me to change the tyres. So I'm assuming they have to get to 0. I was thinking of damaging the tyres on purpose, but 8 tyres to damage, I don't even know if I'd manage all of them. I might manage 1 or 2. I'm not too sure how to damage all of them evenly as well across the board. I really laugh as well if... Oh no, that's a bit tight corner. Okay, we're going to refuel while we're here, just because there's a fuel tanker here, scout fuel trailer. Got to be careful going this corner. I think the lack of turning ability of this is going to be the hardest part with these heavy tool loads. Just because we've got to take the corners really carefully and make sure we wait to turn. So we have to go a lot further past the corner before we actually turn to allow for that turning circle to work. Mainly because it's a fixed bed. As it's directly fixed to the truck, there's always that issue. Whereas if you've got a tractor unit or a lorry, whichever you want to call it, and then you have a saddle on it like we do with the International Transstar, you've got a lot more turning ability. With this you don't. So we've got to be a bit more wary of that with tight corners. And obviously if there's a slight hill gradient when you're doing that kind of turn, you can get it to be so unstable that it tips over. So if anything, this is what I'm worried about with the twin steer. Twin steer, Transstar. Got to remember the 2 differences. And obviously we can't use the Fleet Star because it hasn't got a saddle on it, we haven't got a trailer on it. It's got space for only 2 on the back rather than 4, just because we bought it here and that's what we used it for since. So we've only got a choice of 2 trucks. It would have been nice to have all 3 going, 1 to each place. That would have been an ideal situation, but unfortunately we don't have that. And I don't want to send the Fleet Star all the way back to Smithfield Dam, change it to come all the way back here, because we may find we need it for a smaller job at some point. Quite, you know, it is quite nippy. It's really good under wet ground, so it's quite handy to have around for those smaller jobs. So yeah, we're definitely not getting rid of it, and hopefully it will still help us out while we're in Island Lake as well. But so far the twin steer, I'm going to get the names wrong in a minute. Twin steer doing really well. We haven't been able to assess how good it is in terms of ratings and stuff. We won't do that until we head back to the garage. I do have an Excel spreadsheet of the vehicles so far, bar this one. So I can, you know, check engine sizes against each other and that kind of stuff. I don't really think a lot of that's as true as it looks though. When you actually get this number to say yes, fuel consumption is at say A, I think in reality it depends how you drive it as well. I'm quite heavy-footed handed on the trigger, so that obviously is going to mean I'm going to drink more fuel than other people that are a bit lighter on the acceleration. So I think that does take a massive impact on this as well. Paying power to weight probably is quite accurate, but then again I think when you've got ABC rather than 1 to 10, it's not as accurate as you would think, because you've got less of an ability to be able to tell the difference. You know, you can have 2 things on A, but one could be a low A and one could be a high A. But you're not going to be able to tell that when it's only got 1 letter to use it as a rating. So I prefer numbers if possible, just because it gives you more flexibility to be more accurate. If that makes sense. That's just a personal thing that I prefer. But this doesn't have that, so we have to go with what it's got, and we have to compare them as is. I'm interested to see what engine this has as well. We may even have a load of upgrades for it, we don't know until we go back to the garage. I can't remember what upgrades we've got with names of vehicles they're for, so we might find we've got an improved engine or something for it that we just don't know about at the minute. No! Oh, okay. That got really bad. Me chatting away and just not realising they took a corner too fast. I think that was the big deal there. And it's still tipping. We're stuck in the mud on this rear left. I just took it too fast and got caught in the mud on the back end, and that started to pull us over. Come on. Do not mess this up now. We're so close to having the first one done as well. It's been a nice journey. Nice and simple. Nice and... well, nothing's really happened. And now we have an issue. Okay. Try and reverse this back and just pull this round a little bit, I think. Come on. Don't start tipping on me now. You see that back wheels are just stuck. No. Oh, let's get so close to going. I think obviously, as I've said a few times now to be fair, tyre condition and the types of tyre we have on this are an issue. We don't actually know what type of tyre it has on it. I would guess it's road tyres, because every vehicle we've started with or gained so far begins on road tyres until we change it. So my thinking is this is road tyres, and it's been brilliant considering. But is this too much, too far? Is it too heavy a load maybe for them tyres and them condition of tyres as well? Come on. Come on. I don't want to have to go and get the Fleet Star to come and pull us or anything, because I think that would make the load unsteady as well. I think we get out of this. My concern is obviously not doing too much and pulling it and tipping it. I think we can get out. Man, that gets close to falling off. That's really worrying. I suppose the only benefit to the twin steer and it going over is if it goes over, the whole vehicle goes over. The tractor unit and the trailer both go over at once. Well, the tractor unit, the front of the lorry, essentially is going to be extremely heavy. So because of that, it's going to be a lot harder to fully tip. Yes, we get this tip to the side as we have done again now, but it's the tractor unit itself is keeping it on the ground. It's stopping it from going fully over because of the weight of the engine. And that does play a big part. So I think you have a little bit more benefit and leeway in terms of tipping than you would say this was the Fleet Star with a saddle on. I think it would have been over by now, because all that weight is on the trailer, not on the actual Fleet Star itself, although it is on the saddle. But you know, the trailer can flip without flipping the front effectively, and I think that's what makes the difference here. You can see the big tip, but we're not tipping over, mainly because all four of the front wheels are on the floor still. So I do think having a whole unit like this with a trailer that's permanently connected does make tipping less likely. Doesn't mean it's never going to happen. I think if we took a corner quick enough and there was a big enough of a gap to fall down, we could easily tip this over. But I think we have more benefit of the doubt when taking corners with this as a whole unit than we would normally. You can just see how much that's tipping. But as long as the front wheels stay on the floor, it shouldn't go over. Doesn't mean we're going to chance it. We're still going to be a bit careful, just because you never know. But we've got out of that situation. We're going to have a right hand turn here. I wasn't even worried about any of these bits. I'm actually worried about the section right near the warehouse, because it's quite underwater and we haven't really tested the twin steer in water really, and the really bad mud, because we haven't had to yet. So I think it will be a real test for it, just to see if it can deal with that kind of condition. And I wasn't even thinking then bridges or anything would be an issue, to be fair. So this is my concern. This was the only part of the journey that I was concerned about. So it's coming up here on the left. We're about to take a left turn, and this is the last run to the warehouse as well. This is where I was a little bit worried about how we'll do, and this is where you're mainly pulling out. I'm not sure. The weight of this, pulling this is not going to be easy because of the weight on it. Okay, so we've got a tight turn here. I probably could have done that a little bit wider maybe, but we're okay. And then here comes the water, and this is where the tyres come into play, and me thinking that maybe they're not good enough. We are stuck, we are in, but we can winch ourselves out ever so slowly forward here. We're doing okay. Obviously, rather we weren't stuck, but I kind of understand why we are. We're not. There's no chance of us tipping currently, so that's always one relief. But just trying to just winch us forward ever so slightly here, just to get us out. There we are. And I believe this is rear-wheel drive as well, so it's all on the real tyres to how much grip we have in terms of the power being put down. So kind of need to keep them moving at all times. The four tyres in the front are brilliant, but if they've got no power going to them because it's a rear-wheel drive vehicle, which I'm guessing it is, they're basically useless unless the rear tyres are actually gripping anything. That's the problem. Okay, we're going to keep using our winch here through. So we've found out the twin steer and muddy wet water is an issue, which we kind of thought it would be anyway. But as long as we can keep winching ourselves forward, we're fine. It's not the end of the world, and we can still get through this. So far so good. I think there's another muddy puddle coming up. Muddy puddle sounds like it's one of those that you see on your way to school and stuff, doesn't it? But actually this is a lot worse than that. Oh, there isn't one. We're here. Oh, perfect. I didn't realize it was already there. Perfect. So that is the first drilling equipment delivered. Job done. So what we're going to do now is switch vehicle, and we're going to jump into the International Transstar 4070A and take that one and that piece of drilling equipment from the closest one to the warehouse. So let's just jump across and make sure we're ready to go with that. So here we are in the International Transstar 4078. I like saying its full name. And this is the closest drilling site to the warehouse. So we're going to pick up the drilling equipment from here and take it to the warehouse. We saw how well the twin steer did. Can the TranStar show it up? We believe the TranStar has more power. It seems to feel like it does. Obviously it's got better tyres, but it hasn't got a full connected body. This is using a trailer on top of a saddle. So it'd be interesting to see the difference between the two. So let's get this lined up, and then we're just going to get round to save us turning when it's loaded more than anything else. We can get round and then we can load up and get going. That'll do. Oh, okay. That animation was new. We didn't get that last time. And you can see the whole site's disappeared. Why did we not get that last time, I wonder? That's a weird one. Okay. I don't think there's anything to... Oh, why are we already tipping? I don't think there's anything to worry about. It just seems weird we didn't get that with the last one. Not sure about that. Okay. It doesn't matter. That is the second one now collected. And we're in the trusty TranStar. We know what this vehicle is like. We know how good it can be. We know the power it's got gets us out of most dodgy situations. So this should be a fairly simple journey because of where this one's located. We'll say hello to the Fleet Star as we drive past. Get a bit dodgy with the tipping over there. Get a bit close. But we're okay. But yeah, the Fleet Star's been there since we last used it. We stopped in the last place we used it, to be fair. Okay, so we've just got to follow this round. I think the night's starting to draw in as well, which isn't helping. Shows how long these jobs really take, doesn't it, in real time. So we just got to plod our way up here. This is a bit muddy, bit wet. So we've got to use the TranStar's power just to get down. Obviously it's got better tyres on. It's got the off-road tyres, I think. Yeah, off-road. We did have all-terrain. We changed to off-road for all the vehicles, didn't we? So I think it's off-road tyres, which is good. Let's just keep going forward. No, no, no! This moment was absolutely gutting. The TranStar flipped, and we had to get rid of the drilling equipment on the back. We took about half an hour to get this going again. It was really frustrating. But we also didn't know if we could still complete the mission. So you join us again with the International TranStar now back on its feet. We're going to the middle drilling site, one of the three we haven't been to yet, to pick up the second piece of drilling equipment again. Hopefully we haven't messed up. Well, we just need to park this up and pick this one up. It's taken an awful long time to get to this point. I was a little bit worried we'd messed up the whole thing because of what happened, but I think we haven't. And the reason I think that is there are still two sites showing as needing to be picked up from. This one, and there's the animation again. Okay, I think I know why the other site's okay. So this is the middle drill site. The first one obviously we picked up from and lost the cargo. This middle one we haven't been to, and the furthest away one we went with the twin steer, but we didn't get the animation for it loading that we had to start with, although it's counted as one of three being delivered. Now the far drill site still shows up as needing to be picked up, so I don't know if there's been a glitch, a bug or something that hasn't activated to say we've taken the third drill site's container, but yet it's counted as part of the mission. So my thinking is we do the middle one here with the International TranStar, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't have the same situation again that we just had. And then we go back with the twin steer and pick up the third container from the place we got the first container from. I hope that makes sense. But we're working on container number 2/3 because it's the third one we've picked up, but the second one we can actually use. And we're giving the International TranStar another go. I did consider saying no, twin steer all the way, but we know how good the TranStar is. I think if anything that proves my point in terms of tipping and how less likely the twin steer is to tip. I'm not going to test that out and try and make it tip, admittedly. This is an awkward hill. I forgot about this. Coming down here, you didn't think about how bad this hill could be to get round. We need to turn here. I think we're better off going right. My original plan was to go left. We can go right and go through the lumber mill. Yeah, my original plan here was to go right and down to the bottom. What I think is we swing round here, go left instead. We can go to lumber mill and go across those bridges and come down this way rather instead. I didn't even think about that turning on top of that hill. Turning left, I think, would have been really difficult without tipping. So yeah, back to what I was saying. I think it kind of solidifies my argument that the twin steer is less likely to tip because you've got the full unit as one. Whereas with this, you've got that movement between the saddle and the trailer itself that allows the trailer to tip. That's my theory anyway. But we do know that this machine is very reliable. It's just one of those things that could happen, and it did happen. I'm really glad it hasn't messed anything up, or it hasn't. We don't know of as yet. We could get all the way to the third drilling site and refuse to let us take it, and then we'll have to restart the whole thing. So that would be a nightmare, admittedly, but I'm hoping that isn't the case because it still shows as waiting to be picked up. And I wonder, because we did it the third one first, I wonder if that's why we didn't get the animation. Because it's the last one, in theory, it's the last one you'd go to. Because most people do the closest one to the warehouse, but because we had a vehicle already there, it made sense to start there. But I wonder if that's why it's messed it up a little bit and doesn't believe we picked it up. Although it believes we delivered one. I don't know, I'm second guessing it admittedly. I don't know for sure. I am second guessing it massively. Okay, this is the bit where it could get a bit dodgy with the TranStar. We've got the two bridges to navigate, and they are quite tight turnings. And we know if you're slightly off the bridge or on your exit off the bridge you're slightly off, you can get into all sorts of trouble. So we need to take this easy and just be very careful about this. But we're using the twin steer for the final one. I've already made my mind up about that. I just wanted to make the TranStar get over its issues and give it another shot, essentially. Oh, that's no. Oh, that's close. That was so close. I don't like it. I really don't like it. That's really bad. Okay. We're over though. Apologies for the yawn. Trying to do too many things at once. Yeah, so I'm glad we got over those bridges. I was worried about that bit. This bit isn't too bad. And actually, the TranStar's doing really well, as we always know it will. Its power is what pulls it forward. I definitely feel like we can go. I'm not saying we're doing it, but we can go quicker in the TranStar than we can the twin steer. So I do think the TranStar has more power than the twin steer. I don't know for definite. I do know we can check in the top corner. I've been told about that, but because I can't compare everything like the engine and stuff, I'm holding off on really comparing them yet, if that makes sense. But yeah, you definitely see a difference in power, but that doesn't mean the twin steer isn't as good. That's the thing. You can have less power, but it can be better in other areas. Right, can the power see us through here though? This was the bit we got stuck in with the twin steer as well. The TranStar looking to have the same kind of trouble, to be fair. I just think it's because you go in and you hit the nose deep first, and then you get yourself bottoming out, and it does make life difficult. Do not start tipping. Oh, this is dodgy. I don't like it. Come on. I've got to go left this time, I think. We've gone too far to the right. Yeah. Left tree this time, or left post. Just want to straighten this up a little bit. I didn't like the way that was lurching to the right before. Come on. Just got to get the grip. This is the other downside to the trailer, because you got to think there's no power going to the rear wheels on the trailer. All the power for the trailer comes from the rear wheels on the tractor unit on the front. So because of that, if the back wheels get stuck into the mud on the trailer, you're only spinning the front wheels, the four wheels at the front, to get it out. There's no all-wheel drive on this, so only using the rear wheels of the tractor unit to move anything. So although it has power, you can't always put it down, especially when there's a trailer on the back, and especially in these muddy conditions, because the trailer itself can get stuck in the mud. So compromise, massive compromise. Whereas we don't have that with the twin steer because it's all in one unit. The back of the trailer part has the power. So there are benefits to both, obviously. But we're still getting stuck in similar places, so that's not too bad. It shows that they're quite similar, I think. Come on, let's get out of this. I want to get this done so we can get the final one done as well. Come on, we're so nearly there as well for the second one. I'm hoping to see the animation on the third one because that means we are okay. We don't really do it all. Don't tip it now. That'd be silly. Come on. Just got to nurse it there. We're nearly there. Come on. Last little push. And we have made it in the International Transstar with the second of the containers. We've got one more lot of drilling equipment to do. And for that we're going to use the twin steer, and we're going back to where we started this video, which is the furthest away drilling site. So here we are then, the twin steer on site. The rain has decided to hit, which isn't helpful. I know it doesn't really matter, it doesn't affect the ground or anything, but in my eyes it does. It's kind of one of those things that you think about, and although I know it's not programmed into the game as people have told me, I do look at the rain and go, this is going to be tricky. If it's a nice day, I kind of think, oh, the journey's going to be okay. When it's raining, you kind of get into your head, oh, it's going to be tricky. Okay. Okay, that's weird. So the container's on, no animation. So we had an animation on the second drill site, which was the second container. We failed with that container, picked up the third container from the middle drill site, and we had the animation again. But yet we've picked up twice on this drill site and had no animation. Not sure on that. We've got away with what happened though, to be fair. There's falling over and losing the load, we've got away with massively. If we had to restart the mission, everything would get reset and we'd lose one run, essentially. We'd lose the twin steer's first run. So even if we had to start again, it wouldn't have been that bad. But the fact we haven't has saved us a massive amount of time. Although, admittedly, I lost a massive amount of time trying to get the International Transstar out of this situation. Because that was not fun. That took an age as well to get that out from that situation. It wasn't the fact it was over on its side. I got the Fleet Star to pull it over fairly quickly. But then I tried to turn it round to get back. Hang on, let's get up the hill first before I start chatting away. Low range, come on. Just can't. What's going on? I don't think we had this issue the first time, did we? Come on. Pull it over. I don't know if there's more wear maybe on the vehicle. I don't remember having that issue the first time on that little bit of hill. Yeah, it wasn't. Well, I needed to turn it around with the trailer on to go back to the drill site to see if we can get another container. And I obviously turned it in the wrong place because the minute I turned it, I hit a branch, but it kind of got stuck and wedged between the back tyres that I couldn't move once I was on it. So it took a lot of to and fro with the Fleet Star, trying to pull it out, reversing, going forward, trying to just get over this bit of wood that I could barely see that had us all caught up and messed up. Managed to do it in the end, but it took me about an hour in real time just to get around that. Hence us not showing it all on the episode, but there's no way we're going to show that all. It was far too long for us to show it all. But I'm just relieved we can still complete this, to be fair. Okay, let's top the fuel up with the Scout fuel trailer in the handy place that we left it. That has really turned out to be a lifesaver, that trailer there, to be fair. Really pleased we made that decision to leave it there. That's really helped. Okay, try to take this corner, reversing just to try and get it straightened up a little bit. I'm a little less worried now when I see this tip a little bit because of what we've had happen with the Transstar, and kind of coming to the conclusion this is harder to tip because it's all in one. I'm a little less concerned now when it tips a little bit than I would be, say, in the Fleet Star or the Transstar. In fact, when it starts tipping a little bit, a fear of I'm going to lose the load comes out. Don't have that now with this. And I did before we saw the Transstar tip. Now I don't. I don't want that to be overconfident though, because obviously that could still mess us up as well. But I definitely don't feel that awkward going around corners with this as I did with the others with a big load. And we've already learned as well, the Fleet Star, I'm glad it doesn't have a saddle on, because we have learned with the Fleet Star that it doesn't like taking really large equipment. I think we did it on Black River, really large piece of drilling equipment, and it struggled massively. It kept, the drilling equipment was so heavy, I know it was on a trailer, but it was so heavy that it kept lifting the front tyres off the floor. So the Fleet Star, I'd say, is better for smaller jobs, but not that small. Whereas the Transstar and the Twin Steer both seem to be really good at the really big heavy jobs, the heavy loads, the big loads. So that will probably be our focus with them, to be fair. Okay, let's just keep going. We're doing okay. The journey's not taking too long. Some of a few issues with the tyres a little bit, really. I don't know, something feels off, and I don't know what it is. Obviously we had this issue on the hill that I didn't think we had the first time round. Whereas now I'm having a few issues with just trying to go forward sometimes. It could be an issue with the tyres. We know they're low, we know they're low health. We have had a bit of damage on the truck as well, with engine damage, suspension damage. This doesn't feel right, I don't know what it is. But we just keep plodding along, get this done. And then that'll be job done at least. Instruments of Development, for those that don't know as well, is also a main story mission. So the ones I'm calling main story are the ones that are selected by the companies, rather than the individual tasks that you pick up out and about. So for me, the small tasks are side missions, and the company missions are main story missions. And this is, I believe, this is a main story mission, because that's how it comes across. I think the job after this actually wants us to go to the one place we've not been yet, and that's the last map in Michigan. But I think that mission doesn't unlock until this is done. So it'd be interesting to see what that does. But we'll have a look at that another time. I don't think we'll have time for that today, as I'm fully expecting this video to run over. Based mainly on the crash. Although we're not going to show all of it, I can't see myself showing all of it. I think it will still be a decent amount of length, this video. More than, you know, I'd rather do. I try and do half an hour. Obviously some jobs aren't possible, and if you don't have to split into 2 halves, that's better. So even if it's an extra 10 minutes over, it then means we just need to do, we don't need to do 2 episodes essentially. It's kind of my thinking anyway. But we're now at the point of where things can get a little bit tricky. So these are the double bridges. We've had issues here before. We had an issue last time with the Twin Steer here. We're getting caught in the mud as well. Again, there's certain areas we didn't have an issue with last time, we're now having issues with, which is strange. But yeah, so this is the point. We got a bit caught up, so we need to try and take it a little bit better this time. Waiting to go left, trying to take it nice and late to try and allow for the back end to come round. Downside to that is my front end isn't turning very well. That didn't go to plan in the slightest. I was hoping it would, but it didn't. Come on. So be careful how far I back this up now. Don't want that falling in backwards, because I think we wouldn't stand a chance of getting that out. But okay though. Yeah, come on mate, we've made the second bridge without anywhere near the trouble we had the first time round. Well, we need to stay to the right here. We've already learned this a few times, that left hand side is extremely muddy, and you do start to sink in. The swing here, you can see the angle of the trailer. No, that's not just on us, that there is quite a gradient to this left hand side. I think that's what causes that, more so than our driving. We did take it nice and slow. I think it is just a gradient once you do go down that way. We're okay though. Let's keep chugging forwards, come on. We're so close to having this done as well. We do need to go back through the water though, which last time did cause us some issues, slowed us down considerably, but we did it in the end. I don't know how long the first one took. I should recheck that really. I can't check it now, but I should recheck it, because I'm curious. I wonder how long it would take. That's something to think about. I don't think it took that long. I'd say about 15-20 minutes maybe for the first one. I don't even want to hazard a guess at the second. If you take away the accident, it wasn't that long either, to be fair. Okay, left hand turn. So this is the bit where it gets a little bit awkward. We know there's water, there's mud. We know the Twin Steer struggles through here a little bit. So we're prepared for this now. All we need to do is make sure we use the winch where we need to. Keep the tyres moving as much as we can. I think that's the go-to, is just keep the tyres moving. I say that as we come to a halt, admittedly. Come on, low range, let's keep going forward. It is moving ever so slowly. We're not sinking or anything, which is good. As I say, it's because all the power's on the back, and that's currently stuck in the mud. Where if it was a front-wheel drive, I don't think we'd have half this issue, because obviously the front wheel's out in the mud. Right, this isn't working. Okay, we are going to need a winch, I think. It's best to winch too. Oh, okay. Trailer to that pole, I think. There is this little thing about things sorting past these kind of obstacles, using trees, but also using either the trailer or what you're carrying as the point that was behind the tree. You attach to the tree in front of it, and it kind of acts as a slingshot to pull you forward, based on your trailer rather than the front of your cab. So that there was a prime example of using that to our advantage to get through the puddles. Puddles really doesn't do it justice either, does it? And these are massive crevices full of water. A dirty little puddle is just children's thing to play in and splash in. I don't think you see many children playing and splashing in these, to be fair. Right, we are getting a little bit caught up here again. We just need to go forward more. We have to swing this to the right a little bit as well. We're so close to being done. Come on, turn. Yeah, I think we're there. Come on. Keep going. Nearly there. Just get it in the box. And we're there. We've done it. That is Instruments of Development complete. I don't know how we managed to do that without it going catastrophically wrong after the accident with the TranStar, but we survived. We did it. 3 loads of joinery equipment delivered to the warehouse. I'm hoping that third one is now dismantled. Don't quite know why it wasn't. But that is us for today as well. We're out of time. Thank you for watching. Hope you're enjoying this series. If you are, a like on the episode does really do a lot for the channel, and it means a lot to me as well. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you very soon.